$10 million available for, you know, for annexation, that's like a drop in the bucket of what we really need. And I guess that's only conditioned upon annexation. So I know that there's not a lot of fans of annexation, but just not real sure what the alternative is. But I know that time's up.
Councilman Murray?
No, I put the question out there because some people think it's not true, and you're hearing it from a financial expert. We don't have a real concrete economic development plan. If we got people to move in here, it'll take a few years before the tax base kicked in. I've heard rumors of the school board wanting a tax increase, or the library. I don't know how true that is, but we got too much vacant property that we're not getting revenue from. So before you came in, I had a health and safety meeting that said when we lose fire and police, we're not a city, because we can't protect the people. So
You know,
you know what? Too, we, like you said, the $10 million that Yost threw out there. We've tried to get some of that surplus money from the governor. That $2 billion he's sitting on up there. Just take the local government funding, but take all these municipalities. We couldn't get anywhere with that. The situation looks hopeless.
yeah, you know, the loss of the local government fund was even more devastating to communities like East Cleveland, because the allocation formula allocated more money to communities like East Cleveland and Lakewood because of the age of the housing stock and some other demographics. So East Cleveland got a disproportionate share of the local government fund when it was allocated. So when the money was cut, it was even more devastating to us than it was to Euclid or Richmond Heights or Seven Hills or even Solon and Beechwood. You know, I mean, so because we historically have gotten a larger allocation of the money. So when it was cut, we got a bigger cut.
Well, what happened? What happened with Garfield, Northfield? Well, Northfield. What was their situation in Lake Heights? They were similar to us. So, what did Northfield do? I know they just about lost everything.
I believe, I'm not real familiar with Northfield. I believe Northfield raised their income tax. I know that Maple Heights got an income tax increase. And I believe Garfield Heights also did that. The same thing, was increase their income tax. In addition to that, Garfield Heights put on a garbage fee. You know, we already have a garbage fee. And so they did a number of things like that, in addition to doing some layoffs and that kind of thing. But, you know, I don't believe long range that those communities are out of the woods yet. I believe that those communities are going to show signs of stress into the future. We just happen to be at the bleeding edge of this phenomenon. I mean, I see other communities, like even Euclid, as being fiscally stressed. It's just not showing yet, but it's coming.
But they do have the money behind them at this particular time that they don't have. They're not down at the last scraping.
Correct. Right. Yeah. It's a degree. You know, they're in I guess a degree of being not as bad off. But I don't know if you saw in the news today, Lorraine avoided laying off 13 firefighters because the union came back to them and said, we'll give concessions to avoid the layoff.
But our people already gave that. And that's one of the things I don't understand, Director Johnson. if they gave the, everybody was all gun ho because they were saying that in negotiation, the concessions were doubled down with the minimum manning. And now they come back and the minimum manning, you know, is stressed and you got to do something else. So what question I wanted to ask, now we in the health and safety was asking, what would happen if they went back to the table, or is it fruitless to do that?
If there,
Can you get anything else out of it?
well, that would be up to the union. If the union, I mean, you know, if they put something on the table, they could put something on the table to, you know, I don't know what they could offer, because, you know, giving up a uniform allowance or something like that is not going to, I mean, they'd have to take serious pay cuts. They'd have to take serious pay cuts. You know, there are a lot of other things that are not even within our control.
Yeah.
For instance, in this year, the county auditor reduced our property tax collection estimate by $300,000.
I heard that.
So, and I mean, that's totally out of our control. So, you know, we lost $300,000 just in property taxes from last year. So, you know, the local government goes down, so there are a lot of things that are not even in anybody's control that, you know, we're helpless to do anything about that are affecting us.
And I, with all due respect to my learned colleague over here, you can think about the rainy day fund if you want to, but every other little municipality like ours is thinking about that rainy day. And regardless of whether Kent Smith put in his word, it's highly known that the rainy day fund is going, it can rain all over the earth and it's not going to move until the legislators say so, and they can't determine nothing.
Well, you know, the governor's going all over the country campaigning on the fact that he eliminated the state deficit on in the state budget.
I understand.
So, I don't see any money coming out of that fund, you know, as he's
No
campaigning that that's how he cleared up the state budget.
Well, what else can I do, Chad?
Just want to make sure we get all the questions answered. Councilman Martin, you have any other questions?
No, I just wanted everybody to hear this. They heard it from Smedley, and I think they had questions. Now they heard it from you, and I think you're right on point. Here we are in April, and time flies. We need to come together with a plan what we're going to do for 2017 now.
Okay.
Yes, and you know, and like I said, you know, I'm more than happy to invite Eunice Smith in here from the state auditor's office, and you can hear what she has to say, and I'm sure she's going to tell you the same thing. But I mean, you know, don't have to.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because the chief of staff was here, and there was some pushback with the numbers coming from him, and you know, numbers are numbers. So now that we have you here, it just may be the next step to get the state auditors in. I mean, heck, we did the same thing with the sewer district. So we kept bringing them back just to kind of reinforce and shed a clear light on what's going on. Is there anything else that would add to this conversation, Law Director?
I don't think so. I think you've covered it very well.
So we don't have Robert's rules because I suspended them, and I see Belinda Cow in the back, so I can't help but ask from the administration, is there anything that was not covered here that you would like to say in this regard?
No, I think Jack did a thorough job. We've been looking at the
these numbers for quite some time, trying to share this information. And I'm happy to see that we're open to hearing what's really going on in the community.
So if the three of you don't mind, I would just like to say it now. I'd like to have this meeting again, right? And hopefully we'll have more residents here, and then you can say it to us again, right? The sewer district was here, what, 7, 8 times? So I'm gonna ask you guys to come back again, and maybe the same story or the same song, but we're gonna keep needing to hear it so that we are pushed to do something.
And Mr.
So
Chair,
are you saying, Brother King, we need that 261,000?
Yeah, we need that 261,000, and it looks like, well, we're gonna see just how the state and then the federal mandate that the EPA, Ohio EPA got, we're gonna see how that plays in. Because if that mandate holds up, then we'll take it.
also, we need to mention that the, commission will be here on the 18th at the, library at approximately 1 o'clock in the, Llewellyn room.
What are you saying?
The commission, the fiscal commission will be here on the 18th, and it will be in the Llewellyn room at the library.
Next Monday.
Whatever the
That's next
18th, but
Yeah,
the 18th.
I'm gonna be.
Okay. If there are no further questions, I'd like to thank you, Finance Director.
Sorry,
And
sorry I
for
didn't
the
bring
record-
better news, but.
For the record, since we're looking at the numbers, because there was, someone walked in, they had a stack of papers claiming it was the charter and that we had to have certain positions. We just don't have the money to fill those positions. So while we understand the charter is the charter, Papa Omaze,
That's right.
we gotta do what we gotta do here with the funds that we have.
The charter may require or mandate any number of positions, but the funding of those positions is another issue. And if you don't have the money to fund those positions, that's another conversation.
It's just an unfunded mandate.
So we'd like to thank you.
Well,
We'd like to thank you,
and I-
Finance Director.
you know,
I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, you know, I don't like to be talked over,
I'm sorry.
talked at,
I'm sorry.
talked around. We have a salary ordinance, and it stipulates all the positions that are there. When you lay off area, you don't have to refill them. Okay? So I don't understand what you mean that we have to do something. Say for instance, if you got a department that had 10 people, then you lay off 4 or 5 of those, you don't have to call them back.
I was picking with Papa Omaze.
I ain't got nothing
And
to do with that.
he got it. He got it. I was picking with him.
I don't.
But he's
Yeah, I
a good
don't play.
sport. So,
I don't have humor when we talk about money.
Papa, may we have an opportunity to speak on our finances?
I guess you do.
we are, I have an open format. So if, just raise your hand and I'll
Are you through
acknowledge
with
you.
your agenda?
No, I got an open format. So I'm just, somebody has a question.